1, 2, 3, listen.
I've started recording, so somebody want to do like a welcome to the first NineDots podcast message, or should we call that the welcome to the NineDots podcast message?
Dude, I'll rise the
welcome.
Challenge.
Fine, rise.
I got some message.
Hold
on.
Welcome to the NineDots Podcast, or if I was from the down south, it would be podcast.
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 Let's leave the southern behaviour to Rahul.
Okay.
We're going to give it a name. Should we name it the DotCast?
Yeah. Okay then. Fine.
We don't have to.
I'm not bothered either way, but DotCast is fine.
Fine.
Pod 9 cat 9 yeah. Fine. Let's go with that.
Fine. And now we should introduce ourselves. Let's do that. My name's Adam Johnson.
Hey Adam. My name's Andy Gaines.
Hey Adam and Andy. My name's Rahul Khona.
So for the purposes of people who are listening to this, whoever they may be, the three of us started NineDots way back in 2014. Is that right? 14.
It was 14. We didn't do anything until 2015, but we'll go 14.
Yeah. We were conceived in 2014. We didn't emerge until 2015.
No, we were born in 15, conceived in 14.
It's horrible mind-eye image now. So we started NineDots in 2014. Initially doing workshops and then doing the NineDots Gathering. For those of you that don't know about that, you should check that out on the website, obviously, and hopefully come to the next one, which obviously it's a wedding photography conference. And now we run NineDots membership alongside the NineDots Gathering and alongside a fair other few bits and pieces that NineDots do in training and mentoring and events and running the NineDots community in general. Have I missed anything off?
Oh, great elevator pitch, dude. But it doesn't, I mean, it's for wedding photographers. I mean, not obviously, but we make things for wedding photographers, don't we?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
To make wedding photographers' lives more, just richer, just generally richer.
Well, we do stuff that we wish that we had when we first started wedding photography, I think. If I had NineDots when I first started, it would have been way easier than the way I started. So,
how long had you been shooting weddings for before we started NineDots? Okay.
Only 3 years. Yeah.
So you started
3
when?
3 or 4 years. 3 years. No, actually, no. So 4 years. 4 years, I reckon. 3 or 4 years solo, but 2 years before that, second shooting for like 2 years, and did over 100 weddings in those 2 years.
Like assisting. Yeah,
assisting for free.
That's similar to really fair play. Yeah, that's similar to me. I think like 3 years. You've been shooting longer though, AJ, right?
Yeah, I was the veteran. I was 5 years at the point we started NineDots. Well, four and a bit, 4.5, whatever. But yeah, 10 years this year. 10 years this year though, dude.
You've been shooting weddings for 10 years.
Correct. Just finished my 10th season.
I saw that post. How was that? Did you feel anything, or just dead inside?
No, I definitely didn't feel dead inside. No, I mean, I didn't really. I mean, it's a bit like when you're a kid and somebody says, "How does it feel to be 10 years old?" and you go, "The same."
Yeah.
I'm still laughing at his dead inside joke.
I know. I didn't really know where to go with that.
No, but I mean, like 10 years. Do you feel 10 years is a long time? Like, do you feel good?
No, it's crazy. It's crazy.
You're doing it for 10 years, or do you feel like, I can't believe I'm still flogging away?
I feel good, and which is strange for me because nothing really sticks for me. Like when I had real jobs, I was always bored after like 2, 3, 4 years. And when I decided to become a photographer, I was very glad that I didn't have to do my old career anymore, which I'd only been doing it 7 years. But so no, I mean I feel good after 10 years. I feel ready for more.
I feel like you've had one of your best years. To be fair, like
thanks, dude.
It's your 10th year, but like I feel like this was your strongest year. Like from the images that I've seen that you posted and stuff. I don't know. Maybe like things change and like that's a great thing about being self-employed, like you can reevaluate what you did the year before and become better and try to achieve more, if that makes sense. I don't know.
I agree. I think I think that we've gone very deep and serious straight away, but I think
How we roll.
I focused on the right things this year. Focused on the right approach to photography, which was just to enjoy it and just to really, really, really do it for the people that I was there to do it for, instead of, don't know, attention or whatever. That's just not the right reason to do.
Awards.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But just attention in general. It could be awards. It could be, likes on social media. It could be just other photographers thinking my work is great. And obviously I like it when people think my work is great, but I think I was genuinely making pictures for the right reasons this year, and that's, for me, like, I've made my favorite year of wedding pictures ever. I've got favorite images from previous years, but I think as a year, as a whole, I enjoyed putting that, like, my best of the 2019 posts together, because it felt like my favorite year of pictures.
Yeah. No, that's interesting. Like, because we always joke how, like, I was good in 2014 and I had made good pictures then, and since then it feels like I haven't. But like, I know that every year, like, I'm getting better. And I think
yeah.
We talked about this week a bit. Like, it's almost a novelty. It's like you can only almost excite yourself about doing something for the first time once, and then you've done it already. So, once you learn how to do this technique, or you learn how to make pictures a certain way or whatever, like, that excitement, the novelty factor of that is there only once. And then all you can do is take that and kind of build on it. Do you know what I mean? And so it's hard. I think what I find hard is that you don't have that anymore, like the novelty factor, because there's, once you've shot enough weddings, there's not much you haven't seen or done. So, but yeah, like, I find that just generally, as going forwards, like, my work is definitely getting better, but it doesn't feel like it is, because the novelty things are there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, like, I think, like, yeah, what you're saying is right. Like, I feel like my work is getting better because I care even more about the people now, if that makes sense. Like, I've had like 3 granddads or grandparents, whatever, pass away this year. About the photos I've taken of them, like, have meant so much to the bride and groom. So, like, even though people are trying to, like, be so creative and prism everything and off-camera flash everything and do everything else and throw everything at like, but my simplest photos have actually given me the greatest joy, because I'm like, oh, I'm so happy that you really love this one photo, which was the most basicest photo I've ever taken, but like, it's really bring back the memories for, like, their grandparents or whoever it is, like, and the same goes for me. Like, when I first started wedding photography, like, I was like, yeah, it's all about portraits. I'm going to make this most epic portraits or whatever. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. The people are going to be so small in the background. They're going to be like a little, like, you could clone stamp them out, basically, and it'll be just like a landscape photo. And like, but now I've realized that in the few years that I've been doing it, like, obviously progressing, that photos actually mean a lot more than portraits.
What was the when Ben Chase spoke at the gathering way back in the day? He said I forget exactly. It's like the most meaningful and important photos are never the most impressive. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
And I think, like, that takes a long time to be comfortable with. I think, because I take
really good non-impressive photos.
That is a strap line.
Yeah, I take really good non-impressive photos, and I'm good at it. I don't crop the hands out. I don't crop the heads out. There's really like good. It's taken very well by non-impressive photos, and you know what? I'm bloody good at it, and I'm proud of it. So
they are very good.
That is it.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I agree. I mean, I agree with all this. I think what you learn to do over that time, and I totally agree with what you're saying, Andy, mate, that it's that lack of novelty that points in your early career starts to get you down. Like, you've already tried that flash technique, you've already tried that, shooting through those fairy lights, you've already tried that, whatever it might be, and then like you say, there's no novelty anymore because you've tried everything. And then I think what I'm saying and what you're saying is, over time you learn to make the people the novelty, so that when you go into these weddings, that's where you get your inspiration from, and that's where the novelty comes from, is that it's a new set of faces and a new set of personalities in front of you.
Yeah, and just new everything, like a new set of relationships, like, how the bride like is with her mum this week is different from how the bride was with her mum last week. You know, like all the little bits, which I think initially you literally don't even care about because you're more worried about the impressive and you're more worried about all the photography stuff. I don't know. I guess maybe that does come more from just like having weddings under your belt, maybe, you know, like just time on the ground or whatever. Like,
but it's tricky at the same time. I think the trouble that I think with some more established photographers like us and people who've been doing it longer is in kind of realizing this about the fact that the novelty is the people and we're really there to make meaningful, unimpressive, whatever Rahul's strapline was, really nice, unimpressive pictures that you forget to make impressive pictures as well. Like I'm a big believer that, you know, maybe the pictures that we get booked for are not necessarily the pictures that we are mainly there to take, if that makes any sense.
Okay, so
yeah, 100%.
I will
rewind that for sure.
Yeah, I'm guilty of that as well. Because I'm going to rewind what I said. Yeah, well, basically, like people take impressive photos, but they don't know how to take the basic photo sometimes as well. In my opinion, learning how to take the most basic photo is the key to like being a successful wedding photographer. In my opinion, like doing it nicely with a nice background, clean space, clean whatever. Make sure the hands aren't cut off, and all these little things that people will never think of, and they're like the key. But then, obviously, I'm good at that, or I could do that. But like making the art is where it's at, I guess. Like you know, documenting moments with creativity and finding different angles, or like just showing them. The bride and groom or whoever, like who has ever seen the photo of bride and groom's parents, like how it was on that day with your creative flair is where it's at. Yeah. But for me, like I think I get booked honestly because I could just take a good fucking photo. Like no one cares about the rest of it. But I don't know, man. Like I just keep rolling on, man. Like I put out the creative stuff, but people book me for. He's competent at taking a good family photo, I think. I don't know.
I mean, we've talked about this before, but I think there comes a point as well where you underestimate your own abilities and what we might consider to be a simple, basic, whatever, nice picture. You know, we probably underestimate ourselves a little bit in, you know, where the 10 years or the 7, 8, 9 years of experience that we've had to go through to get to the point to be able to, for it to feel basic, easy, simple, whatever. Mm-hmm. And when it probably isn't, you know, maybe people that are coming into the job first year or two. But yeah, I mean, I think my only point is, and we've done talks about this and we've talked about the workshops and everything, but you have to keep making those pictures that are, I guess, whatever you want to call it, artistic, impressive, especially like on the portrait side of things, or whatever. It depends on your style, obviously. But, I mean, but whatever, you've still got to take the pictures that are going to get you booked, and you can't just settle into basically taking the same pictures that everybody else takes, because then you'll just fall into the sea of sameness.
Yeah, I think the thing again, like I think we've said this since, but at this year's NineDots gathering at the Q&A session where Eric and Man was speaking, you know, we were talking a lot about the importance of just the process and really like getting to having the process as being the means to the end. Like the be all and end all is not the end result, it's the process. And I think that's so true with this kind of thing, is that for me it's like it's not so much that you're reinventing the wheel every single wedding, or you realize that you can't constantly have this like spark of novelty every single wedding, but just forcing yourself to go through the process of trying things. Do you know what I mean? Like just pushing something every time, be it the way you're doing things or how you're doing it or your approach or whatever, like just pushing and trying something, so that you're always got that element of there's a process which is like a discovery. You know what I mean? Like you're just trying to get something new out of the wedding, even though, like you say, you've seen you think you've kind of seen it all before. I think is important, but you know it's hard to do that when it's when the years are long and the weddings are piling up and
I mean, I think I try to at every wedding, try to create some images that are just basically, especially with Indian weddings, yeah, like everything is so the same all the time. Like the processes are the same, the ceremony is the same. Like, I mean, I can speak about Indian weddings because I do them day in, day out, but you know, like trying to get something different for every single couple, and which is theirs, is hard work. But then that's why you work, and that's why you keep shooting. That's why you keep moving. You keep going high, go low, go far, go near, whatever, or go back outside for 5 minutes, take a break, come back in again, and like try to like not take a break, but as in like refresh and reset. Do you know what I mean? Like, see something. Yeah, you don't take a break, but like reset to just find some different angle or something that is unique to.
Yeah, for sure.
Been for so long, because I mean, we've been here for so long, that every wedding is the same. Nothing is fancy anymore.
Yeah, but that's it for sure.
I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I get so many phone calls like, what haven't you seen at a wedding before, Rahul? Like, what can we do that's different? I'm like, I don't know, man. Just have alcohol, have an amazing DJ, and party, and it'll be amazing. Like, but people are always asking you those questions, you know, like. Yeah. What can you do that's different? But there's nothing that you can do different. But it's the same for us, right? Like,
but that's,
what can you do that's different? Saying, but like, you have to like.
That's why the process is like the key. Like,
100%.
Like you say, it's like you're saying. It's like it's having like a love and a respect for the process of making the pictures on the wedding is the key, I think.
And a love for the couples as well, yeah. Like,
but that's what I mean. Like, you can find that they can bring that to the, you know, they can bring that bit to the table, you know, which enables you to do that. But for sure, rather than it's enjoying the process of trying to make the pictures as opposed to only getting the enjoyment from making the pictures. Because if your enjoyment when it comes to making the pictures, once you've made your picture once, it's not interested to make it again. And so, you know, like that's, I guess, where the novelty thing starts to wear off, you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah, mate.
So deep, dude. This is so deep.
This is deep.
It is
I mean,
deep.
no, it's totally.
I'm loving it. I'm just quickly. I'm loving Andy's regular name drops and just unsubtle plugs for NineDots products. It's brilliant.
Yeah, but you know that's the thing. Yeah, like once I've done I don't know, like for example, a wedding reception reaction through shooting through glasses or whatever. Like I'm always trying to find different things. Like every wedding, I'm always trying. You should see the amount of reject photos I have. It's crazy because I'm always trying to find some different angle or whatever, or like something that I can bring different to that person's wedding, those people's weddings or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like, and they're not just trying to do the same thing that I've been doing for like the last 7 years, like the same shooting through glasses. Oh yeah, look, this is backlit, and I've done this and this and this. Like, I'm trying to always find different angles, different ways, something different to keep me alive as well. Like, just so I can show it in a wedding in a different context as well. Like, so someone else will see it and be like, wow, this is actually different. Like, I've never seen someone shoot, I don't know, speeches in this way, if that makes sense. Like, I'm always hungry. I'm hungry for that, man, all the time. I think like, when I wake up, that's the first thing I think about. Like, how can I shoot this wedding fucking differently to anyone else's wedding?
Do you feel like that when you wake up every single day of your life? Just at the wedding?
Just at the wedding day.
Okay, dude. Not on a Wednesday in February.
Not on a Wednesday, yeah. On a Wednesday, I'm like, God, I have to go feed these girls breakfast again. Nah, but like, I really do that. Like every single wedding, when I wake up, I'm just like, how can I make this better than the last wedding I shot? And even if the last wedding I shot was yesterday, like I always want to make it better than it was. Just do something different. Like
that's good, dude. It's good that you feel like that, though.
I love it, man. I love weddings.
You've got still the drive, like, cause you need that. It's good.
I love weddings, man. I love weddings. I love them.
I'm impressed.
I'd rather be shooting them than being a guest. I've shot weddings for free because I'd rather shoot them than being a guest. So
I've got it. My best mate's getting married this year, and I'm being his best man. I'm doing a speech and I'm shooting a wedding. I've no idea how that's going to work.
I did that.
That's like the Dick Van. You're basically Dick Van Dyke from Mary Poppins at that wedding.
Yeah, I just did that in June. I shot the wedding. I did a pre-shoot. I was the best man. I gave a speech, which was very drunk. But I just told it. But the way it was like, look, I'm going to shoot a wedding. When it comes to your reception, and after the speeches are done, you know it's going to go lopsided with the photos, and they truly were lopsided. I think everyone took photos on my camera, man. Like, nay, everyone. Like,
Did you get her to do shots of you doing your speech?
Yeah, I did. I got my Nate to take photos of me doing our speech. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Didn't you say that Nate told you off? Nate's your wife. Didn't she tell you off for your speech?
Yeah, she did. She did. I was too drunk.
Not too drunk to make the pictures, just to do the speech.
To do the speech, yeah. I started slurring.
Awkward.
I'm better. Yeah, exactly. It was very awkward. I'm better at doing photos than I am
Speaking.
just speaking. Yeah.
Yeah. I was a wedding guest in October at one of my best friend's weddings, and it was just the weirdest thing ever. I just would much prefer to be the photographer.
Yeah, you gotta. Do you have to make small talk with people you don't really know? Did you have to sit on a table with like a? Did they sit guests? Because this is the thing. People seem to like split their guests up like in a random order so that they get to speak to someone new at the dinner table.
Yeah, like a speed dating.
That's the dumbest.
It's a fucking wedding.
It's the dumbest idea I've ever heard. That's the last thing I want to do is have to make small talk with some random auntie.
Wait, is that what's happening at your mate's wedding?
Well, I don't know. If
Oh yeah.
I'm going to say this week. I'll make sure.
Isn't that the same when like you get seated at a table with the guests? Like I hate that. I would rather sit in a dark corner, just get the same food, but in a deep dark corner, in like the smallest place next to the toilet. I don't care, but just eat on my own. I'd rather than sit with a guest. Oh, have you been doing weddings? Oh, you must get to fly a lot. You must do so many destination weddings. Oh, how much you do? How much you earn? Blah blah blah. Shut up, random guest.
And the thing when I'm sat on the table with the people as well is I always feel that should I be taking pictures now? Like if one of them laughs over the table, do I whip out the camera and like shoot them across the table whilst we're all eating, which is obviously fundamentally awkward. But at the same time, I'm like, it always feels awkward that I'm not working. You know, like yeah, I hear you.
I always feel like I'm not working, like which is the one thing that I hate about sitting with a guest. That's why I'd rather just eat quickly, scoff that food down, and then just carry on.
Yeah,
like, and I don't even shoot people eating anyway, or while that's happening. But I just feel like, I feel like there's more pressure when you're eating. like you should be doing work. You're eating, and people are looking like, should you not be taking photos of this thing happening over there? I'm like, I don't know, man. This roast beef is good right now. You know?
That's it, yeah.
I'm eating it. Like, same as you.
Enjoy my
What do you do for a living?
Yeah. At least being a photographer gives you a great excuse to get out of the small talk quickly, because you can just say you've got to go and do something or go and check something. But I love the fact that this has generally gone downhill from us being very empathetic about the people at weddings to hating the people at weddings so much that we can't sit with them and have any food.
I love people at weddings. I love people at weddings. I just can't eat with them.
The problem is like, yeah, I'm down with hanging out with them, but it's when it comes to that point where like you've been like solidly on the go, like in people's faces and had them in your face all day, and then it's like the first time you just want a bit of quiet time.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just a retreat to the toilet and hide in there. Although to be fair, let me just interject. I think 2 years ago at the NineDots Gathering event in London, I think Maciej Sobolewski, our wedding photographer friend from Poland, when he gave his presentation, he was kind of saying he loves sitting with the guests because he books so many weddings from just hanging out with the guests at the table and being like outgoing and being himself and chatting with them and making friends with them and then sneaking off and doing like mini shoots with them and all this kind of stuff. And yeah, so you know.
Yeah, but that's why. I mean, that's why the NineDots mantra is create your own awesome, because everybody's different and everybody likes to run their business differently. Andy Gaines.
There you go. Exactly correct. I mean, interestingly, thinking about next year's NineDots Gathering event in London,
incredible.
I'm going to be quite interested to see what Sam Hurd has to say on the subject, because like I've heard him speaking about similar things and chatted to him before about the like keeping your business like innovative and the stuff we were talking about a few minutes ago, and the creativity aspect and being able to keep that novelty part, there. So yeah, basically, there's a NineDot event for almost every occasion.
Do you remember just before we started recording the podcast and we said that we weren't going to turn it into a sales pitch?
My bad.
It's fine. It's just classic 20 whatever year it is, 2019 Andy Gaines.
Cheers.
Yeah. I remember. I used to love 2014 Andy Gaines.
Yeah.
That guy, man.
Yeah, he was a hero.
He was my hero. He was my legend.
What What happened?
Now
to
he's
that
keeping
guy?
an ape on AD.
What
I
happened
remember.
to that guy?
I remember that guy. I remember that guy.
He was I was just like, where's this guy come from, man? Like the way he could pull images out,
But
and
now,
the way he shoots. And now I'm like, oh,
has been guy selling albums to his couples.
you're still good.
Times change, people change. It's not you, it's me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, it's not me, it's you.
Exactly. Yeah. But it's interesting though, because I would say that all three of us are very different photographers, business people, and even people really than we were when we started NineDots. And Rahul's had 2 babies since then.
Yeah.
So that's going to have changed your entire outlook on photography. But
you didn't have it. You didn't have a single baby when we started, did you?
a single baby.
Life was good. Life was good.
You've got loads of babies.
I know, man.
We both had all our babies at that point, didn't we, Andy Gaines?
All the babies, yeah.
Not together, not just separately, with our respective wives.
It's some like twisted, sick commune. This is going downhill. Let's just change the subject.
Yeah.
No, let's
That's
change the subject. Let's
Tail
move on.
for men. Yeah, go on.
You've not dropped a name in at least 3 minutes.
Yes, all right.
So I remember.
No, but you're true. Like we have, I think we all have changed a lot of photographers, but I think that's good in a way because I think you don't. Like I say, I feel that I'm. If you're constantly learning, and I think we are all constantly learning because you can't not really, then it does mean that no matter how much you change, you are still getting better. Do you know what I mean? And so you're always. I think even if things change and the way you do things changes and the things that you're maybe interested in or the things you're drawn to more, they can change, but you're still, I think you're still always progressing, So, from like speaking for myself, like I'm definitely a better photographer now and I'm definitely a better business person than I was, even though maybe on the outside it doesn't necessarily look like that. Do you know what I mean?
No, I totally agree. I mean, you've set yourself up brilliant for another sales pitch at some point here, but I would say that that desire, and I remember doing I'm going to name drop. I remember doing Farewell Easties workshop in 2012.
Okay, well that would have been before he spoke at the NineDots gathering in 2017.
Yes,
okay.
Correct. And there was I can't remember who it was. There was another guy doing at the workshop, a little bit older, and Fair singled him out early on and just said that he respected him almost more than anybody, any of the others of us that were at the workshop, because he was still, even after clearly having been a wedding photographer for a while, was still keen to learn and keen to like attend workshops and all that kind of stuff. And
yeah.
I think that's definitely the thing that sets the great. Well, I'm not calling us great photographers, but I think the great photographers are set apart by the willingness to continually learn and never go, oh well, I know everything now, so I'm gonna teach what.
It's the process. It's what I was saying. It's the process. It's like the love of the process and not the result.
It's the process, and also like that. That's the one thing. Like we set this thing up called the NineDots Gathering, right? Not to name drop the NineDots Gathering, but like to learn, right? But we don't get to learn, like we're like because we're always but we set it up because we're running around. Yeah, exactly, organizing. But like we set it up to the willingness to learn, like and always be better than what we were a week or wedding before, if that makes sense. Like
yeah.
Yeah, I think, and obviously, like having started in that, like having kind of created this community, like what you just said about that, the Fair story about the older photographers, like firstly we're becoming those guys, so it's great that we're still no, but it's great that we're still like keen, but also like having met people like that, like just to name up some more people like Paul Fletcher. I remember having a conversation with him once, who's been shooting I think for 25 years or something, but he's still super passionate just about just trying to be the best he can be. So hence he's still, learning and investing in his business and investing in himself and coming on workshops and keeping up to date with everything, when it is so easy to just start to slide into that,
routine.
I've been doing this long enough. I know what I'm doing. I can turn up, I can do what's enough, and then I can go home and yeah, so meeting people like him and there's loads of people who we've met, through NineDots that share that is inspiring, because it gives you kind of hope or whatever, not hope. It gives you like, all right, there's potential.
It's definitely, yeah. It's massively inspiring. I find stuff like that way more inspiring than just hearing about a cool technique or anything else. Like people like Paul
the latest like style or trend.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But you know, people like Dom and Liam, York Play Studios, who've basically had to reinvent themselves as the industry's changed around them. They've been, they must be heading for 20 years in the industry now as well, and still like killing it at the top of the game. So, and you don't do that by just becoming good and then resting on your laurels. You only do that by adapting and adjusting and always wanting to learn and always knowing that you can learn something off every other photographer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And obviously, like today for this first podcast, there's just the three of us. But like the plan is to get guests and stuff on, right? So we should speak to those kind of people for sure.
Definitely. I mean, we'll have guests, but we're not.
Yeah.
But I think we should point out that this is not going to become an interview-based podcast because there's other people already doing a great job of that, including our very good friend, name drop clang, Alan Law. This is Reportage, who's got a really cool series of.
Is it a reportage? That's very fancy. I thought it's just.
I think it is.
Reportage. But okay.
Yeah. I'm trying to get a really.
My wife thought it was reportage.
That's what I thought it was. I was like literally like reportage. Like I don't know about that.
If you hear Alan introduce the This Is Reportage podcast, he says it in a very beautiful posh Cornish voice. So, well, Cornish Birmingham accent.
TIR. That's how I like to call it.
Sure.
But yeah, there's other people like there's other people like Alan who are doing a great job of interview podcasts, and we're not going to be doing that. But we'll have guests on, and we'll when who can, I don't know, add to this rambling of loosely based topics that we're going to base it around. But why are we doing a podcast? Why have we decided to do a podcast? Should we
That's what it means. It means just why not image.
Oh, I like it.
Dry way of saying it. So why not do one?
I agree. That's a great. Say the word again.
Image.
Like it.
What is that?
It just means why not? In good try.
Oh, right, okay.
But the way my mum says it is like it makes it sound really like what not basically. Like, it sounds good.
Fun. And for that reason. For the process, guys. For the process.
Everything's for the process, Andy Gaines.
Amen.
Yeah.
Is this still recording now?
Yeah, still recording, but we can leave it. We can continue to ramble.
We can maybe fade it to black while we keep talking, and it's just going to fade out slowly, and then yeah.
Do we need some kind of outro?
Right, well, we're going to get better.
Like, if we're going to do an ending, how about asking for people to like send in? It'd be good to, like, if people want to know if we've got stuff they want to talk about.
Oh, nice,
Questions.
Yeah.
You can say that, AJ. Go on.
Good idea.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks everyone for joining us for episode 1 of the NineDots podcast, currently named DotCast. May not be named that in the future. We'll see. We're planning to do these, I guess, once a week, once every week or two. And if you've got anything you want us to talk about, or you want to suggest that we talk about, or want to ask us about, then you can just contact us via the website, which is nine-dots.co. And send us questions, send us suggested topics, send us feedback. I don't know. And we'll see you next time.
Yeah. Amen.
Peace.
Cheers. Bye.
1, 2, 3. Listen.